and feel this amazing person that is you meeting in the heart. To feel this amazing person that is you meeting in this moment. And now open up the top of your head to make that spiritual connection to whatever you call that spiritual energy. Whatever way that it is brought to you, let it sink down, tumble down, all around your entire body, meeting the earth energy that you've just brought up in your heart. And feel the two create a spiral of powerful, healing, loving energy that allows you to be fully present in this moment. Let go of any cares or worries that you might be holding on to. And for these next 2 hours, we will have the opportunity to be fully present with each other as we guide ourselves in this spiritual quest to meet on that deep level. And as you feel your heartbeat, thank your heart, the great bridge between earth and spirit, the great bridge between you and all other living beings, the great bridge between you and the world, and the best that the world can give back to you. Feel it meet in your heart. Feel it meet in your heart. My heart is open, my heart is filled, my heart is hoping we can all be healed. And we just give huge thanks to our heart on this day, Heart Day. Thank you so much. And in honor of that light of our heart, we are going to light our candle, which is a symbol in our speaker series that we always open our meetings with. The lighting of the candle reminds us that we are the light and that we also deserve to receive the light. And as Mary has pointed out in a couple of her talks at CCL, we can generate that light and walk the path of light. And so we're just bringing this to your awareness and letting you know that you are an amazing light in this world. And the color of our origami heart is orange in honor of our Reverend Corry Gott. So I'm going to put it right behind here.
At least you don't have to go far to deliver it.
I don't, do I?
Not at all. Want me to mail it to me? I can mail it
Yes,
to me.
I would like for you to mail it, would you?
Yeah, sure. Sure,
Madam
sweetheart.
President. So it's
bring
just
it back and I'll throw it. Go ahead.
It'll be a great, great day today because we are having Reverend Corry Gott express her many dimensions of where does love meet change and where does change meet love. And in these times, I can't think of a better topic for us to embark upon. And the way that we are going to do it is Corry will be speaking, and then we will be inviting interaction after she is complete. Now, Reverend Corry Gott has many things to her name. One is she is the president of our Universal Church of the Master, and we are so grateful for her amazing work as president. She has also been a member of UCM for many years and has brought rich contributions to our many UCM charters with her amazing cooking, her amazing IT support, and her amazing spiritual strength. She is truly a spiritual warrior in the best sense of the word. And I am just so honored to bring this former Marine, this amazing chef, this spiritual, incredibly gifted person who is protector for so many people in so many ways, and also is probably the best expression of love, one of the best that I know. So it's my honor to give you Reverend Corry Gott.
Yay.
That is so not fair. You stole my opening paragraphs. She read it, so she stole them. Hi, guys. Oh, is everybody happy Valentine's Day to everybody? I hope you're all having a wonderful day. And yeah, it's been a challenging day. It has been, and according to the astrological part of the aspect is February 14th would be a day that tempers would flare. Yeah, and so what can I say? Sometimes we have what we want it to be and what it is just don't go hand in hand. I want to say this is I'm gonna Jan, I'm gonna share my screen here just briefly. Okay, make sure I get the right one. Okay, so this is where, if I can get, there we go. All right, so what we can do, this is where we start. This is generally where we start because we have been taught that the two don't work hand in hand, so they go their separate ways. How can you love and expect change, and how can you change and expect people to continue to love you? So I'm going to go ahead and close this. I was going to do a whole slide presentation, but then I ran out of time. So sorry, I woke up this morning with a little bit of a nasty cold. So, but I'm not sneezing or sniffling. Aren't you glad we're not in person? Otherwise I'd have to be wearing a mask and you can never hear a thing I say. So what kind of, guys, those of you who do know me know I really like to have a good time. Those of you who don't know me probably wouldn't even figure that about me, so like Jan said, who am I? Who am I in my human form? Yes, I'm a former Marine. I'm definitely Italian. I am, of course, proud to be the UCM president. I've spent many years in the operations and manufacturing industry. I currently kill my time working at Levi's if I'm not killing somebody at Levi's, and Stanford, which I don't have to kill because they're really good kids. But mostly, who I am is I'm married to Janet Childs. Can't ask for anything better than that. All right, that's just the way it goes. But that's just human, I learned a long time ago that there's another side of me. The spiritual side of me is that truly I am a channel. I've been doing this since I was a child, but because I lived in a lovely Catholic Italian upbringing, and along with me being a lesbian, it went right down and got locked into that little cabinet down there. And said, I think I better wait for this, and I did. It was actually easier for me to come out as a lesbian than it was to come out as a channel. So that makes a little bit different. I returned in San Jose in 1996. I came out in the 70s, went back, came back out in the 80s, came back in 96. And some of you know who MCC is, and some of you don't. It's Metropolitan Community Church. I went there the day after I returned to the state because I was told they had crystals on the altars. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. I want to go check this out. This is what I'm looking for. And then I got there, and unfortunately, they had wonderful people, but definitely no crystals. So we sort of set that one off to the side just a little bit more. But I did meet Janet that day, as she was standing behind Ronnie. But I did meet Janet that day, and that changed my life in a lot of ways. But that is the best thing, because she truly introduced me to spirituality as it defines me or as I define it. I've come to claim my guide since then. And I was at Tom and Mary's CIG services. And Jan had asked me what the name of my guide was, and I didn't know. So I'm sitting there in services, and so I ask, and I get an answer. I had never asked before. I didn't even know I could. And this is, so it's like, Jan, I have a guide's name. I do. It's guide's name's Raphael. And Raphael I'm not a psychic like Dottie. I don't give messages like Lynn. That's not what I do. I'm a channel. Only when I go into that space or request that space or I get slapped upside the head does Raphael show up. And if and a lot of you know this about me, all right, because my close friends know that I've been granted this gift. I claimed it, but I've never called upon it more than now. In the past years I have, but never in today, right in here, right now. I was feeling disconnected for a while, so I had to ask what's going on. I show up here. I'm being told it's time to speak before we are so into fear of what is happening that we can't see or hear. So we need to do that. And that's through love. We need to, we need to do it through love. And everybody's like, well, yeah, but it hasn't worked yet. What's going on? Look at today's world. Look how I feel and I'm angry all the time. Or look how this is. Or why is this happening? Actually, a lot of people did, and we don't recognize it because it's not to our perception. We asked, and, that action that we asked and we started living in love has put us on this path. This is part of the journey. It is not the journey. This is part of the journey. So anyway, some of us old folk know the song, the old Dusty Springfield song, What the World Needs Now is Love. Well, back then, when that song came out, I believe 60s, 70s, wasn't it, Jan? Okay, anybody else who knows that's musically more inclined than I am. People
Yes.
heard, thank you, Jan. People heard, but it was an intellectual love. We became in love with our minds. We became, we knew we needed to love the world, so we put things in place that would help us show the world that we love them. And, we're only human, so that's what we do. We want to fix what's broken, and we thought the world was broken. So what we proceed to go about doing is we wanted to fix things. So we wanted to put in, rules and regulations in place to prevent, people getting hurt. We started talking about doing some self-help. We started talking about all of these things. And when I was younger, I was right up there, I wanted to fix things. I wanted to make them better. When you go out in the world, as you all have, we see the world in a different window. We see it hurting, we see it painful, we see it loving, we see people mistreated, we see people with a lot of privileges that is not equal. And those, again, who know me know I'm equality is could be my middle name. Anyway, so the world made some of those changes. They did pass those laws, but that door didn't open a way for me as I envisioned it. As I believed. So I believed I was failing the world. I was not accomplishing my goal. And I, therefore, with Raphael, I just no longer trusted that spiritual side of me, because I was doing what I, in my head, thought I should be doing, and I wasn't getting where I wanted to go. So it became a hard journey for me, because I did start to shut down. I was shut down when I was younger too, until I could come to terms with myself. But then I had to shut down again. You're all going, well, what's this all about? I'll get there, guys. Go on my journey with me for a little while anyway. So, okay, I've had to learn how to suspend judgment. And some of you who know me, I do have a problem with that. And I still do, because again, we're only humans, right? We had to spend time shedding our old ways. We have all gone through this many, many times. Again, I am preaching to the choir here, but others will hear this and may not have had that benefit, especially if they haven't been around the world as many times as we have. So we're in our heart phase. So we are now going to learn how to suspend judgment. Because we are in our heart phase, how are we going to embrace that? But in the meantime, the changes in the world, are really starting to accelerate. I mean, you blink an eye and it's gone. So once things started happening, Raphael has shown up a lot more frequently, and I've been listening to my best of my ability, and it's taken me years, but I think I'm getting the hang of it. I'm sure Dottie can confirm that. Sometimes we just have to listen better. A few years ago, I shared with friends in my arena that we were on the cusp of major changes, and that people need to make a decision to get on that train or to stay off of it. That train was starting to accelerate. We were going from a locomotive to a diesel to a jet plane, and we just really needed to go. We needed not to be stuck, but we needed to bring everything with us. Sort of can feel like in the old days of Noah's Ark, we need to bring things forward with us. And those changes today, if people we all talk to, because we're of the same group and same mindset, see more of that. The average person is seeing it more. You'll hear, about people like, younger generation talk about energies, and the younger generation talk about things I don't even understand. But they talk about things that is beyond what we know, because they are farther ahead of us. They have had that blessing, and it could be an issue of moving so fast and growing so fast and just being in a different space that it took us years growing up to even figure it out. And a lot of that had to do because most of us were pre-internet, pre-cell phones, pre-social media. So by the time the word got around the world, it was still news. I mean, it wasn't, it didn't change fast. The world didn't change fast. It changed faster than it did in our parents' time period, but not in ours. We just, if we read it in the news yesterday, it's still true tomorrow. Today you read it 1 minute, turn around, it's deleted. So yeah, it changes really fast. Yeah. So, but recorded stories have shown this to be true at a much slower pace. And that is only in the recording that we are aware of, because this has been a long time coming. Our existence has been a journey. And the most profound change that in recent history. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, somebody ask something? Okay. I apologize. It's March 2020. We went to shutdown. We went to lockdown. Not by choice, but by, whoever, however it had to happen, it happened. There's no blame, no shame, none of that here, because this is the journey of Gaia. This is the journey of humans. This is the journey of all the living beings here on Earth. We have to prepare for a much bigger change than that little bit that it's like a blip on the screen right now. So the animal world was given a reprieve because you know why? They welcomed the change. There were no humans around. The atmospheric world was given a reprieve because it now could breathe. Pollution was, as we have all experienced, during that time period, pollution really went down because we didn't have cars on the road. We didn't have smokestacks. We didn't have this. We didn't have that. But things changed. But the human could not leave their home environment. And that had to come, we had to come to terms with ourselves, with our life, and what we were required to make it through that time period. Well, that was just a taste. Okay. This change was challenged. It was disputed. It was poo-pooed. It was we were unwilling to accept all these changes. And we turn around, and that was going to be nothing compared to the changes. They're coming this way through no fault. Well, I shouldn't say no fault of our own. That's not reality. It's nothing we have in our control. There's nothing we can do about it. This has been the way of the world. This is a change we know. But we've never experienced this in this lifetime. We might have in a previous lifetime, but we don't have that memory. So what do we do? Did we attempt to accept this change or have a visceral reaction? How did it look for you guys? Did that reaction change over time? Did you accept it and then get pissed off about it? Could be pissed off about it and then accept it, or anywhere in between those two worlds? Let's fast forward. 2-3 years later, change has been the word since then. It has, and it's not me. It's the world. You talk to people, they're always looking at a change. Look how the world has dramatically changed, how people, don't want to go back in the office, how other people are starting their own businesses, how, there are so many different things, how people are more judgmental, more because they went into their own world and their world was perfect. They think that perfect world should be for everybody, and that's true about animals. We do the same thing with animals. Animals don't, but we do because we have a logical brain. So let me regress here for a minute. So I showed you the slide. Change and love weren't considered compatible. You couldn't have both. You couldn't do both. One threw you out of your rhythm, and the other one, love, keeps you in your rhythm. And that's because, and why is that? Why do we perceive it that way? Because we are dealing with the intellect of love. We're not dealing with the heart of love, but the intellect of love. Can we logically process it? Of course, it doesn't look like it's familiar. Think about, and some of you may not know this, but was a day that Reese's Pieces or Reese's peanut butter cups didn't exist. At one time, people thought you never mixed the two. And, I don't know about you, but I'm a definite lover of Reese's about peanut butter and chocolate, so, it's change. What we logically didn't think works. It doesn't, it's not logical. It's like in the cooking. Some things you would think two flavors don't go together until you put them together. And then all of a sudden they complement instead of contrast. I'm boring some people. It's okay. I'm not bored. No, I'm only kidding, guys. I'm only teasing. Do not anybody take anything personally. I actually can't see the screen because I'm actually looking at my notes because I didn't print them out. So I don't see you. Go ahead.
So I just have a question. Can you give us an example, Corey, of, two ingredients we wouldn't think would go together actually complement each other?
You're asking a chef that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's take anchovies and cupcakes. Okay? I can't see your face. I bet you everybody's giving me that. Well, anchovies are salty. It depends on how you incorporate them into your sweetness of your cupcake as to the way whether they taste salty or fishy. So everything it depends on how you address it, how you perceive it, how you try it. Are you willing to try something new? Are you willing to take a step outside your framework? So does that answer that question, Jan? Jan?
Yes, it does. Thank you. I
You're
couldn't get
welcome.
myself off of mute.
That's okay. All you had to do was answer me. I could hear you. So uh, uh, that those are the two examples. By the way, peanut butter and chocolate was thought about that back 1700s, 1800s. They actually thought spicy goes with chocolate, which it does, but not sweet with chocolate. So, anyways, there I just threw that out there. So, okay. So now, what happens when change meets love? Right? Let's see if okay. I'm good now. Oh, I did it backwards. Excuse me for a minute. I actually thought I shared my screen and I didn't. I didn't do it fast enough. Okay. Okay, so here's where they meet. They're still quite a bit apart. Okay, quite a bit far apart, but they're at least smiling. At least now they're at least saying, "Hey, let's have a handshake here. Let's do something here." So and all right, so yeah, okay, we met. Now, how are we going to fix this? Again, how are we going to fix this? Books, self-help. Well, I think I'm talking the 80s, 90s now. Counselors, psychotherapy. I know I did most of them, till I met Jan, of course. Okay, I still like change, but only because I thought it would finally push people to acknowledge their own resistance when I wasn't acknowledging mine. Of course, I didn't see my own. The statements you get in your head. Well, they should have. Why didn't they do it this way? What's the matter? Don't they know any better? It's only common sense. I mean, all those things we still tell ourselves. But that also means for me personally, I was resistant to change. So, but we did. It's a lot of that helped move it forward. We weren't stuck. We weren't going backwards. So now we've introduced them through intellect and logic and reasoning. We said, okay, here, let's let them find some common ground, see if they can have a conversation. We'll listen, we'll understand, we'll play nice. We'll not say what's on your mind. We'll make everybody feel good. We'll allow everybody to play in the sandbox. I'm just giving, this is all background work that I'm doing on it, guys. So just so you know, I'm just trying to put you in my train of thought. All right. So necessary changes, to take us in the direction we need to go. And that's the key. We can't, jump over a 10-foot hurdle if we don't jump over a 2-foot hurdle. And again, that's logic. But our logic plays a part of this going forward, this change. The energy started to take over around the time period, the Berlin Wall all of a sudden came down. Yes, I know there's a lot of work behind it, but literally one day it was gone. And that, they always considered that the 100th monkey syndrome, where you get enough of the population thinking in one direction and everything shifts. Everything shifts. Is that true? Yes and no, but that's not what this is about. So I'm not going to get into that. All right. So more years go by and it gets worse. The resistance to embrace new change is starting to backfire. Now others want to control everything. Look around us. It doesn't matter the subject or what the subject is or the intent. They're going to want to restrict this, to censor that, close this down, do that, prevent this, prevent that. And I'm not picking on politics. I'm not picking on any other organization except life, because we do this and we do it in our own lives. And we have done this not too recently because of March 2020, when we went into automatic lockdown. Some people have not come out of that emotionally and intellectually. They still think around those things. So what's next? Let me think about that for a minute here. Today's world and beyond. What does that mean? Let's truly embrace love. This is our goal. Let's truly embrace love and change. Love and change as one unit. How are we going to do that? It's so foreign. It's like putting on a pair of pants backwards or something. It's foreign. We're not used to that. We're not accustomed to that. So we have to get ready. We have to start doing this. So how can they be in synchronicity? Now let's talk about the energies and unknown space. We have, at this point in time, are very full aware of energies outside of us. One of the nice things is that our logical brain has got us here. It's not anything that we just pulled out of the sky one day, it was there. Science and technology has pushed it to the point where people who have been afraid of it are even in more fear of it, because now we can prove some things, not everything, but some things. So let's start from the outer of us to the inner of us, and how are we going to recognize some of these things? And how is it going to help you embrace your own change and come to a point of love, to be emboldened by love? Not just you yourself, but how we're going to fix that. More and more people today, right, accept that we are more than mere mortals. I don't know about you guys, but I've been one of those comic book kids. I always wanted to be a hero or heroine, or wanted to save the day. Not everybody's like that, but they envision themselves as that. If you're a parent, that is true for you, because you want to be the best you can be for your children, for your spouse. Children want to be the best they can be for their parents. So all of that comes into play. We want to be heroes. And today we're learning that we are more than mere mortals. We can do things outside of our physical constraints. So it's amazing how things, sorry, I got myself lost again. There we go. So they want to, be outside different things. So we love, sorry, I am thirsty.
Take a drink, Corey. And I just want to acknowledge that the very powerful thing that you said about how embracing, love and change, or doing change in a loving way. And then what I heard was not beating ourselves up if it's not the picture, because our intellectual picture may not be, the actual experience might be tenfold. But that picture that we have, if it doesn't fit, I know for me, if it doesn't fit, sometimes I can be very judgmental of myself.
And if I may speak, Corey, when you said logical love, I mean, what I have experienced is we might call it conditioned love, conditioned love versus unconditional love. But that's how I define it.
That's great. I'm glad. Yes, thank you. Thank you. So, yeah. Thank you, Jan, for giving me a moment to breathe, because I was getting thirsty. All right. So now is our best time. Now we get to have superpowers. We get to be more than mortals. We get to be flying around, or zapping this or doing that, things that we thought we could do when we were kids, because we can. The imagination is not one that is not real. It's just not invented yet, or not found yet. But we, as spiritual beings, know that this all exists. We know that. We have that energy. We recognize that energy, and now it's time for us to grow that energy. We love animals and plants and babies, and unconditionally, as Chenley said, the word unconditional. We love them unconditional. Because why? Because we have no judgment with them. And some of us have been fortunate in our life to get an adult human that we can have that unconditional love with. Yeah. Again, everything else is in play with the babies and the children and the animals and the plants and, trees and skies. And every so often we get an adult human, But what happens is when that doesn't occur in our life, or we don't have that unconditional love for ourselves or others, we move to fear. Rational and irrational fear. People are no longer able to stay in that place of unconditional love. And that's not just your spouse human. When I say humans, I mean the world full of humans, that assault our being, if we're not careful, our human being, our spiritual being is a little different. So, because, why do they assault us? Because they are in fear. We're in fear at times, they're in fear at times. Then sometimes when we're both in fear, we really have a big blow up. As as we see in the world today with some of the major conflicts going on, minor and major, it's amazing. So anyways, when we go into fear, think about it. Have you ever been to fear? Isn't it like walk into a completely, totally dark room? Can't see your hand in front of your face. If any of you have never been in that dark of a space, it can be frightening the first time. I worked as a photographer in the Marine Corps, and we had to have a true dark room. It took time for us not to go into fear when we first closed those doors and everything was dark. And that's fear, is what fear for me feels like. It's like, wait, because we can't tangibly feel anything. We can't auditorily hear anything. And we don't visually see anything, but we're energy beings. And one thing about this upcoming today and tomorrow and going forward is that energy of who we are is more in tune. We're going to more intuition. So if you stand in a room long enough, you know how your senses push out and how you can feel yourself in the room now. You put your head in front of your face and you can see it. You can hear things even if it's just the air moving. But these are how we get beyond the things of fear. And do this. This is a good practice. Trust me. That's from my experience. Every time I had to go to a dark room, close the door. I didn't always have the film ready. I never had the film ready because I couldn't. I had to handle it in the dark. But to stop, and they always told us, stop, stay still, do not move, and let your senses take over. Our senses are our energies. So let's start using them, but not just in the dark room, but let's use them in light. How are we going to connect to those frequencies that we feel are around us because we're going to do that energetically? How about our quantum senses? Quantum physics wasn't around, growing up, wasn't at least not talked about a lot, but today that's where the intellect mind has helped us spiritually so that we can make this journey going forward to where change and love fall in love. All right, so Jan, I don't think I'm going to get 2 hours out of this, but okay. All right.
For us to have a little,
I'm in trouble.
hopefully hear from Raphael.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I've
A
got
lot of
plans.
All right, some of this is from Raphael, so
Okay.
there's a one later today wasn't as much. So,
Okay.
and I'm not talking, we all know about the third eye, we all know about the chakras, we all know about those kind of energies. These are energies that we have not experienced in 12,000 years. So this, I'm not, just talking about what we already know. I'm not, that doesn't make any sense to my brain, as I said that, but it makes sense to my heart to explain that this is not wrapped around the intellect of just, what we already know. This is wrapped around to the possibilities of love and what happens when we just lock on love and stay there, and how we move through each day without stepping back into fear. Because we have superpowers. We've always wanted them as children. We have them now. And they're just grown. We are like a child with these superpowers. We have this ability, not what you already know, but what there is to learn. Things have opened up so dramatically in the cosmos for all of us to reach out and grab it. It's like grabbing a piece of cake. It's fuel. It'll help you go into the next universe, the next galaxy. So, and we always say, look at the world today. If you want to change. If you want things like that to come about, yeah, it's true. We do. We did all that. But we didn't realize or recognize, recognize that this is universal. I guess talk about cosmos, galactical. This whole next step going forward is at that level, something we have never, ever experienced. And they're gonna teach us how to love and how to change into love. And I have a note here to ask you guys, have I launched it yet? Good. If I didn't, then you already know this stuff and I don't need to be here. I can leave right now, right? Isn't that true, Jan? Can I leave now? No?
No.
Is everybody still awake?
Yes, we're very much awake.
No, yeah, I see you, Amy. Yeah. All right, if you say so. But we have so much more going forward. We have all these tools that we've had. It's like having crude, as we believe, crude tools of the cave people versus electric saws today. Okay. Or the tin can on the string versus a cell phone. Okay. Now let's go to the next level. Let's put down the cell phones. Let's put down all these tools that we've used, and let's start using our mind. Let's start using our energies. Let's start using the next level that is achievable, but achievable only through love. You didn't really think I wasn't going to talk about love today, did you? Really? Yeah. But everything, because we need to prove that we are no longer in a 3D world. We aren't. We are so much more, so much better. Not that the past was bad, just different. There's a song that, it's not just because it's different, just because it's strange and different doesn't mean it's wrong. So how do we do that? Well, let's start with Pluto is walking, or I should say floating into Aquarius in March of this year. Hasn't been there in 225 years. If I was alive back then, I have no clue because I don't remember. If you guys were and you remember, share. All right. And it usually stays there about 21 years. Now, I'm not an astrologist. This is just stuff that it's been coming up for me to take a look at and to see what's going on, because that's what I'm told to do. I just do what I'm told to do. And so, all right. And, so what energy, hasn't been around in all this time? What does that feel like? Evolution, revolution, major change, breaking of old patterns, collapses of old structures, but this time differently. Gaia's going through her own evolution. Are you? I know I am. Can you just be calm and absorb the energies, or do we get frenetic like I do at times? I get frantic, I get frenetic, I get in that state of fear because I don't know how to handle what's coming at me. So it makes such a big difference. So do we know if we've gone through this before? Of course we have. But here's the last 2 times of recorded that we have been recorded, 1293. King Edward I signed off on the common law in England, which for the first time, again, in recorded history, is that there was laws protecting the common person. In 1789, the U.S. Bill of Rights was signed off, as well as the French Revolution, when that was Bastille Day, right? When they stormed the castle and took back their rights. All right. And this is not to identify a specific violent event. This is to identify how much of a shift overnight can occur, literally overnight. All right. So we have changes afoot, right? There's a big fork in the road, which way we're going to go, but don't go into fear. Don't become a victim. Yeah, this is where this big fork is so critical to our, how fast we move forward energetically, whether we're going to basically get up. It's like, do you want to go down the road where there's a lot of mud? You'll get to the other end just a little slower. Or do you want to get on that starship? Yeah. We need to, to achieve this, we need to up our consciousness and Jan, I'm going to say it, meditation. Okay.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
meditation. For those of you who can handle it. No, I can. I'm trying. I really am trying. Sweat lodges, sweats as I call them. Can you rise yourself up to an eagle's perch? Can you look from a different perspective, much higher perspective? It's like, again, here's a logical, for me, it's a logical analysis. People love to watch football games from above because you can see the whole play. And that's a perspective. That's an eagle's perspective, is where you can see everything that's going on at once and not just what's in front of you. All right. Release of the old patterns, but not just throwing them out, but creating new ones that work for you better. Work more in love, more in that arena where you're loving yourself and projecting to the world love. Find joy. How do you find joy? Well, if you expect to change, you'll have joy in the change. If we know it's coming and we embrace it, we also find joy in it. We're not so hard on ourselves. Everything from in our lives comes from within us. And that is true about the whole world. I mean, we've been saying this for years and years and years, and but that coming from us has always been at the intellect level. That's not what I'm talking about. Everything in our lives comes from our heart. So should we move, as we move forward, we need to project what we want from the heart, not the head. Because the head always has a if, then, else, but, and therefore. It's never clear, concise. The heart, there is nothing else but love. Nothing. So can we come from that place of being? Can we accept responsibility for our own lives, but to us, to ourselves? I don't need to tell Janet, Corky doesn't need to tell Dottie, we don't need to tell somebody else. We just need to tell us, because we're the only ones that know how it feels. As much as they love us, as much as we love them, we can never know that. So we have to allow that. We need to learn also how to accept that each one of us here is actually a human being, and we are constrained in a lot of ways by that human nature. One of the biggest ones is that we are allowed to make mistakes. They are forgivable, okay? And that's part of our change. Because we would never make a change forward, or any change, all changes are forward, but any change without making a mistake, because we come from the ego of thinking we're right. Again, we are only human beings. We don't need to have a complete disillusionment of our unique self, but we need to have more of an awareness of our creative self. What is that now? What does that really mean? Our unique self is how we identify. Who are we? I started off with, well, I'm a Marine, I'm a chef, and this. Those are my jobs. Those are my jobs. But in reality, I'm a spiritual being and I'm a channel. Who are you? You're a spiritual being and you have a gift. Everybody has one. Can you accept and recognize that within yourself? Because when you do that, when you accept and recognize your own gift, you blossom and you can go forward more and you can live more in love. What is your own contribution to the world? Everybody has one of those too. We're all different. The world would be different if we weren't here. So yes, we have an impact energetically as well as quote unquote carbon footprint. But we shift. Energetically, we reach out to people. Energetically, we love. And the more people we can love, the more people they love. And what are we broadcasting? Are we broadcasting the energy of us? Okay. And because remember, whatever we broadcast, it affects everything around us. I mean, literally everything. The air we breathe, the water crystals, every little iota of things. And so that's real important that we look and go, what am I projecting? Well, we're not really good about telling ourselves. But maybe you should ask one of those people that unconditionally love us so they can tell us the truth and we won't hate them for it. So I really am playing. Yeah. It's important. This is important, but it's also what I'm trying to do is help. This is not a drag down journey, whatever. This is uplifting. This is allowing us to go more to balance, to be in balance. This whole next change is so great. And then the chances of it going in the other direction are slim to none and less. There will be a change and it will be in a forward direction because it's not within the human control. But how we accept it and how we play a part of it is within our spiritual control. Yeah. We just really need to work on ourselves and go, okay, mind, let me put you to sleep for a while. Heart, let's get out of here. Let's go out and enjoy the world and find joy and bring joy. Let's stay in harmony with each other and the universe. We are not the only ones. So right now we're in Taurus. The Taurus is leaving Aquarius, but they're a fixed sign. And they like to keep things that are old. Janet, you're not a Taurus. You didn't tell me you were a Taurus. How come we got all this stuff, man?
Who knew?
Yeah, really. I better get a chart done. Okay. We're in that energy just a little bit longer. Thank you. Sorry, guys. Some of you know I've been trying to clear our house out, and Jan's been helping. I'm a little bit more than she is. So. All right. So there's going to be resistance. I mean, come on. Mm-hmm. Taurus doesn't like to get rid of things. Truthfully, some things I don't like to get rid of. And so it's going to be a resistance. It's going to be time of resistance. And this is not within, again, our ability. This is within the charts. This is when the astrological charts, the practical charts, these are things that I know enough about to get me in trouble. But I can tell you right now that Raphael said, no, this is right. This is where we're going. Because he told me this years ago. I just didn't have a framework by which to identify. And this now has started to give me that. Okay. So don't stop moving forward with love. I mean, and if you think you have, put more love on it, it'll flame right back up there and keep on going. Because we really don't lose our ability to love unless we go into fear. And fear creates being disheartened and challenged and resistant. And, we go back to that ability of that thought process of we want to fix it, need to fix it, gotta fix it. And this is not what this is about. Nobody needs fixing. They just need to be loved. everything, every human, every animal, every person, needs just love. It does make the world go around, and a few other planets and the stars, and and affect others with it. You know, a long time ago, somebody said to me, smile, Corey, they'll never know what you're up to. And I took that in a complete different context, when it really should say, smile because you love somebody. Just smile. You don't have to be smiling at that person. It could be a thought in your head. It could be something that, makes you feel good and thinks good. And just keeping a smile on your face keeps you in that place of love. And how it get out of there. If you have it written on, down somewhere, go look at it. But to start, so let's not fix it. Okay, let's just love it. All right. So let's start on this journey. Again, we need love. We also need to change our own accepting and understanding of who we are as humans. Let's go back and look at that. Let's look at our whole life in the fact that, and I don't mean your whole life verbatim. I mean, just look back and go, oh yeah, I made that decision because I was in fear, or I made that decision because I was in love, or things of those natures. Don't nitpick yourself to that place. What I'm asking you to look at is how you felt back then. Did you have a tingling that you recognized that you still get to this day? And so when you make and go in that direction, that, and I'm using this very simplistic, okay, that, it is to your benefit. And when, the other side of the coin shows up, whether it be, oh, I stubbed my toe today, I shouldn't have gone, things that simple, was that something that took you in a direction you really needed to climb back out of? But was it necessary journey? It sure was. We can't afford the necessary journeys anymore from here on out. We really need to focus. And we're done, we're out, we've all graduated. We just need to now, okay, recognize how you felt, then let's pay attention to that. Let's not go in that direction. Yeah. It's like, Dr. Jung, said when you're falling, dive. Because falling means you don't know what's coming. Diving means you do. And that you're looking and you're aware and you're paying attention. We have archetypes. We all know archetypes. Yeah. It's time to create new ones. The old ones are no longer in play for us. It's what keeps us, I don't want to say pulled to the earth, because she doesn't want them either. It allows us to bring back a different energy, an energy of 12,000 years old. 12,000 years old energy. And I'll explain that in a minute. Today's February, I already told you, temperatures were scheduled to flare today according to different astrologists. It's not just one. February 19th, there's a new supermoon. It's the fourth of the new moons. It's the fourth of 5 new moons. This one is to stir a spiritual path. So again, remember the 19th isn't specific just to California. It could be, it's that time, window. I think most of you understand that, plus and minus on that. Are you quietly going about your work? Are you? Are you sending love? Are you sending light? Are you working with nature? Or do you need to get out there and shout it out? Yeah, only you know. Me, I have to shout a little bit more because I've been so quiet on a lot of other things. It's time to start working with our intuition along with logic, not instead of logic. And for some people, it has to be instead, because that's the only way they can do things right. If that swinging of the pendulum, you do have to come back to center. You need that balance. How about UFOs? Anybody seen any lately? Hear about any? Well, they shot some down, they believe. After the weather balloon that they brought down in the Carolinas, they said they shut some other units down, and people said, don't be surprised if they're not classified as UFOs. And I would not be surprised at all. So, top-down control is too linear. and that structure, we need to have it more fluid. We need to have it, and it's not just top down this way, it's also this way is linear. So we need more fluidity. We need more love. Love is not structure. If it's so we need more fluidity, we need more acceptance, we need more of those things. All right. March 2023, this month, we're going to, and I've said some of this, it's a balance. It's time to infect people with love. It's practice getting in tune with each other. Okay. And again, you have to practice. Don't do it 3 times. Oh, man, it didn't work. Wait, you don't know if it worked. You don't know because it's not always what you expect it to be. And sometimes when you go to pick up your phone and somebody calls you, and that's an obvious intuition. It's other little things that you'll go to do something, somebody just beats you to it. And you don't even know the person. So it's not that you have a connection with them, but it's that kind of connection when you spread your energy and you push it away from your body. It's more than that 3-foot rule. It's how far can I push this out? How many more people can I reach? So, and it's time. Time to master the elements of our shadow self. No, I didn't say to fix your shadow self. Your shadow is part of your balance. How do we master those elements? How do we learn how they work in our benefit and the benefit of the world and our love? How do we master them through the act of love? How do we love our shadow self? Again, a lot of these words I'm saying have been said in the past and they've been worked on in the past. I'm asking to go to a different level. Go where our frequency needs to go up. Our levels need to go up. Like that eagle's perch. We need to get up to that point so we have a much better view and higher. When the eagle soars, it's much higher than the trees and much higher than the clouds. So where are we on that? Let's take a chance. Well, that's just the scariest change, isn't it? Let's take a chance. Let's take a chance on our energetic self. Let's be that science fiction character you recognize as a child. Let's look, the movie Avatar, when it came out, was explosive. Why? Because it was not only different and change, you became something that you wanted to become. It was a choice. It wasn't like Frankenstein in the old days. You became something whether you wanted to or not. So it's just how people are. Soul contracts. Some of you have heard about them. Most of you have. So some people's soul contracts are coming to an end for the final time. And that is going to be tough. As you see every day, you pick up the paper. We lose another person, but at a younger age. People I don't even know, but it's mind-boggling to me, to already hear about, and I do live with Jan, so I hear some things, but of what's happening in our world and, what's going on. One of the predictions is that our population is going to decrease. That's one of the things going forward. Our population is going to decrease. Wow. I don't think I've ever heard that in my lifetime. I know China's paying people to have babies, and I remember the day when they wouldn't let them have more than 2. These are changes in areas and it's not just material changes. It's not those kind of changes. It's the big change.
Corry, can you elaborate on that a little more? Because I'm also hearing from different people that some of the global powers want the population to decrease because it's easier to control the masses if there's a smaller population. So can you elaborate a little more on how you see that the population is decreasing?
Sure. No problem, Donna. So as I was talking, the soul contracts are in direct relationship with the decrease of population. And I don't know what school of thought you're with or school of belief you are. What the area that I'm looking in is that as souls leave the earth, they come back again as humans, and that's how we've grown the population. Some that didn't come back for a long time came back, so every time they come, we have sometimes you have the soul, the longevity of the human being, then you have the soul that stays in that human being. So therefore, our physical population on Earth increases, because when in the past, say in the early days of AD, a person would only live maybe 25 years. So that soul would leave and come back and live another 25 years. As time went on, that soul would come back and live, say, 45 years. Well, another soul would come back, and now all of a sudden, both souls are there for a longer period of time, so your population increases. I hope I'm explaining that right. In today's world of control and intellect, let me back up. I'm sorry, I missed a whole spot there. So what happens is now, as soul contracts expire, people leave and just don't come back. That is going to create a lower population. That is from the energetic, spiritual side of the house, period. On the other side of that coin is the human need to control and logic and intellect around it. And what you are saying is absolutely correct. And that is also a true statement. That is what people believe, and they have done it in our historical past to some degree. But they didn't have it so much control over it because, again, the environmental of the earth did not permit for longevity in life. So it wasn't that much big of a deal. Today, we're going to really have to look at that, and this is where you're going to have to either want to stay there or just say, you're not in control and let me go over here. The global powers want a lower population because they can control. And on the other side of the coin, they want a population to grow because they need to stay with war. And war causes loss of life dramatically, correct? So all of that is true. So I hope I explained it to a facet that you would want, trying to give you both sides of that coin. You need more? Am I missing something?
I think it's confusing. I do. Because on one hand, China does want to increase its population because I think it is heading into an aggressive period. But I do think other global factors are looking at decreasing the population because of want to control, the population. It's unclear to me if the soul doesn't return. Energy is neither created or destroyed. So where does that energy go? And does it go to other planets, or, where is that energy going?
That energy stays in the universe. It's what runs the universe. Okay. It's what reaches out to us from an energetic point. Right. These are, so that whole energy field, as that grows, as people choose not to come back, would they go to another planet? Of course they can. I have no way of knowing. But when they choose not to come back to any planet, I know that they are the energetic force behind the whole galaxy and every galaxy out there. That has also been proven scientifically. Okay, so we have both sides of the coin. I'm going to ask everybody, and I'm not sure if this is true, but what I had heard was that there are certain like the current war going on in Europe. If we talk about it on YouTube, they'll knock us off. So I'm going to ask that we refrain from saying any country names but our own, and let's just be careful, okay? Because it's not one of the things I wanted to say, but I don't. Yeah, that's why I've been refraining from what I'm saying. All right, I just, yeah.
No, that's good to remind us, Corry, so that we can keep this wisdom that's being shared by you and everyone, really, we can keep the kernel of that wisdom without knocking us off without specific things.
Yeah.
And I mean, speaking from love versus war, war is another way of redirecting resources. And in humanity and resources in that way, Donna, I hate to say, into the power to be, they see human as resource to them. So while we individually as a being may not like to hear that, so how do we support ourselves with love rather than being drawn into that level of fear and control that this powers are trying to do to us? I mean, I have been following a lot of this from an economic person by training, but also now I'm shifting more to a spiritual level. It's just looking at how much fear, how much fight, war, which is really all the opposite of love. I mean, if we are talking about love and change, right? So, I mean, that's my perspective of how we can help shift. I mean, I'm just experiencing an amazing monthly meditation that we gather and push out love energy, and it's very wonderful. And Donna, it's within our UCM group here, so just that those kind of work have been done within our group here.
Thank you, Chenley. Yeah, thank you. That is so true. And that's why I said I'm preaching to the choir, because you guys, you pretty much, you're very much kept abreast of this. And I do thank you for being here and hearing the same message. And I hope that this will do well. Once we get it posted, I see Dottie's finger up. You only talk out of half of your mouth because you only got one finger.
Go, Dottie. Can you unmute, Dottie?
She's yeah.
Where's Corky?
Where's Corky?
Yes. Can Corky help unmute?
Hang on, she's still talking.
Yep, still can't.
I'm going to ask to unmute.
Oh, yeah.
That won't help her unmute, though, will it?
Yeah,
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Now we can. Thank
Okay.
you.
What I was going to say is that for me as an individual, love is the opposite of fear. And when you really love not only you, but everybody, you're not fearful. You're not saying, oh, no, what's going on? Oh, isn't that horrible? You just have to love the situation. And you're going to find there's always a shiny light in any situation. And somebody said, oh, no, you can't talk like that, Dottie. I might die. And I said, I hate to tell you this, but you're going to. And people seem to think that they're so scared of dying that they don't live because they get away from love. When you just start loving tomorrow or love tonight and get out of fear, I found it works so much easier for people to just experience love. Do you understand?
Very well said, Dottie. Totally agree.
Thank you, Chenley.
Sorry, like I said, I wasn't looking at the screen. I was waiting for it. I could hear you stop. Thank you, Dottie. I appreciate that. Good. I don't have to say that now. She just did it for me. Yeah, anybody else? No, I'm only kidding.
But what that moment of taking this to our personal level, which is I think what both you, Corey, Chenley, Donna, and Dottie have done is bringing it down to the personal level.
Right. But virtually, what else do we have? I can't really inspire anyone if they don't love themselves enough to be inspired. They have to be open to the change. And that's what Corey has been talking about. If you're not open to changing, if you're not open to love, I can yell at you until I'm blue in the face, but all I can do is show you unconditional love.
Right. That's absolutely right. Yeah. And that's what it's in being in unconditional love for the world is very difficult, especially
Why?
especially when we have all the constraints around people and when their survival is based on the world as they see it. It's not, you're talking about people like ourselves, Dottie. We're very fortunate what we've been able to do a lot of that journey. We have a lot of people out there that currently are in fear, and they're in fear because they don't know any other way. And this is where we need to come into play, in my opinion, of going out and helping people just by loving them. And
Yes, I agree.
all right, and that's all we can do. We can't fix it. We can no longer try to fix it. All right, and we've been trying to fix it for many years. Fixing it is not making it better for them. Fixing it is a short, it's a Band-Aid fix to a good degree, as far as their spiritual growth, as far as their ability to love, as far as their ability to find joy, to help the planet and all the beings shoot forward to this next frequency level where we start that return back to balance. And this is what this is about. Yes, I know there's a lot of misery and stuff in the world, and it's hard to love our way through it, but we as light workers, we as those who have taken the time to learn and to listen and to work real hard, we have become awakened, to some degree, but not enough. And this is still an area that's always been difficult even for, people. I don't care, light workers or not light workers, people, human beings have a problem with change, and they have a problem with love. So my whole focus was to how do we put these two together? How do we make this such a wonderful, comforting place that we want to step into, and Donna, I'm going to go just slightly back to your question real briefly. One of the other reasons they want to decrease in population from that perspective of human is that they don't want the population to awaken. And this was my little kick in segue into this next one, because today's world, we hear the word woke a lot of times, and it's like, what does that mean? What does that mean? The light workers don't understand that, because we've been there for a while. What's really important is, how do we teach this to others? How do we, we do this through love. We do this to help them make their journey. We do this to know that, we're there. And how do we be in unconditional love with others? By, and this is part of UCM's tenets, treat other people the way you want to be treated, period. Unless you really like being abused, but that's not the point. The point is, can you find it in your heart, to be just in love? And so it's something you have to work on. You have to work on every single day of every single minute. We need to start doing a lot of purging of, as Jan would call our backpacks, how do we get rid of the sorrow and just keep the memories? How do we release the man-made behaviors that we ourselves don't like? How do we how do we work on not having guilt and shame that has been taught to us as children? We're not born with it, the guilt and shame. How do we do these things so we as light workers and as people of this, if you don't have to be called a light worker, whomever, can stay in love? How do we help? How do we do that? And everybody's journey is going to be a little bit different, but the more we can learn, the more we can talk, the more we can help the next person. And it's not fixing it, it's helping them make a decision in which way to go, because we can't fix it. How do we help each and every individual move into that higher frequency? How do we help them surrender? Most of I'm recovering And the surrender is the hardest thing to do. Is how do you surrender who you think you are? How do you surrender your ego? No, you do it through love. But nobody told me that back then. It wouldn't have made it any easier anyways, because I was too much in the fight. But as we get older, it's like, oh, yeah, I can go into love by doing a surrender. All right. And who do I surrender to? Me, or to the universe, or to whatever higher power, or whatever you want to call it, that works for you. Again, there's no one way to do that, but most important thing is you have to be willing. If you're not willing to make this journey, if you're not willing to embrace this love, if you're not willing to move into a higher frequency, what I call get on the train, if you're not willing, like the old thing is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. We can show everybody the way. We cannot accept responsibility if they don't choose to do it, because all it's going to do is put a weight on your leg, and it's going to drag you down too. And I'm not being selfish. I am not being selfish.
But don't you think a lot of it's by teaching by example? I was thinking of the old proverb of you can give a man a fish, or you can teach him how to fish. And I think that teaching people how to fish is by example, and by talking to them about the fact that they are wonderful, that they are great, they have a gift to give to the world by just staying there and loving people.
Okay, yeah, but that's what it is. Our job is to love them. If we love them, all that other stuff comes into play.
Right.
Because if we love them unconditionally,
Right.
unconditionally,
So I just want to say that Patty and Joyce have their hand raised, so I'd like to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, hold on. I'm coming. Had my paperwork in front of my face. Hi, guys.
When I was a little girl in Mississippi, we had really bad summer storms. They'd come, tornadoes and all this. So anyway, I've written a piece earlier, but I just want to say what I'm going to say here, and it'll make sense. Love is lightning bolt in the churn. During very big Mississippi storms, my daddy's voice calmed and quieted the roar of the storm, the wind, and our fear. The sound of love, the voice of love, the feeling that said, you are safe, love. It is all about you. The foundation was Daddy. He was bigger than the storm. He was the comfort, the remover of fear. Minds were silenced, quiet solace, and openness of our minds. We were ever watchful of the teacher, the parent, he who created miracles by his very presence. Attentions held, eyes and ears and bodies a witness of the magic before us. Love. That was that came to me as everyone was sharing and Corey was talking, because I grew up, not fearing the storms. And the reason why I didn't fear the storms was because of Daddy. He would distract us with these amazing teachings and stories. And he was to me, just a big love object standing there. He was greater than any tornado. He was greater than any wind that was going to come in and could have torn that house down we were in. And when we can remember a moment of love, it doesn't have to be like Hollywood. It doesn't have to be like that. Just remember a moment of love. It could be your puppy, your horse, your dog. It doesn't matter. Remember that and think about and not think, feel it. Feel it. That what would you do for that kitten and that puppy? What would you do for your sibling or your parent or a good friend? What would you do? You would stand with them. The strength of love is amazing. It's totally amazing. And so I just wanted to share that. I've been over here listening and just making my notes. I always do make notes about something. But I just want you to know that when we are willing to send out love every day into the universe, we are turning around all of the rest of that stuff that's out there. It cannot stand up to love. It is when we don't do it.
Mhm.
We just have to remember, let that be a part of the day routine. Just send it out. No strings, just send it out and let it go out there. And I just wanted to share that. I got all excited about it. Can you tell?
Not at all. Not at all. I missed me completely. That was wonderful. I couldn't believe you just wrote that. You and Jad drive me nuts with being able to write things in a moment. It takes me days. Yeah. But thank you, Joyce. Thank you so much. That was very wonderful. Very, very wonderful. And sorry, guys, I disappeared for a while because it knocked me offline. Even though Jan took up all the bandwidth.
I must have.
I tell you, yeah.
But
Okay,
you
I'm
know
gonna do-
that moment of describing love. So what your daddy did, just hearing that, Joyce, in a beautiful way, what he did for Joyce C. was he created safety so that you could open up and feel the love,
Right.
right? And
Yes.
so that is, I believe, what Corry is talking about as well. It's like if we can create safety by unconditionally loving even ourselves in that complete way, then the love is going to flow a lot more freely,
Right.
you know,
Yeah,
and it's
Totally.
and
Totally.
just so you know, I mean, we can unconditionally love, but it's not going to happen overnight. It takes a little bit at a time. I'll walk away from somebody and go, that's not love, Corey. What did you do? And it's not that I'll fix it next time. I'll turn around and go back and tell them, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I've been trying to do that a lot more. But does it happen? Sure it does. Again, we are only human, unconditional love is the greatest thing to have. We need to work towards it. And again, 99.9% of the parents already have it for their children. All right. But how do we get it amongst everybody else? And not everybody else has kids, and it's got that 0.1% that do that. So I'm just going to wrap this up and then we can talk. That way I get my brain closed. Okay. So the reason I was saying that we need to do this 24/7. We need to constantly stay in that place. And if we step aside, we need to bring ourselves back. We need to increase our awareness levels so that when we do step away from that if we don't bring ourselves back, that somebody and trust and love unconditionally will tell you that. We need, what the universe is saying, what Raphael has been saying, what the astrologists are confirming is that we need more Lemurian energy, that energy of balance, of unconditional love, of pure heart, So right now, the winds of change, and this is the title of Jan's song, but the winds of change are upon us, and they're at gale force, and everything is changing, not just the big stuff. It's the little tiny stuff that's going to blow it apart, like it did with the Berlin Wall, the little tiny things, so keep up with whomever your favorite astrologist is, if you believe in astrology in that level. And I do, I believe in everything. I have heard by the end of 2024, most of these dramatic changes will already be in. So that, if you look at it, is only a blink of an eye. Yesterday was lockdown. Today it's not, and it's been 2 years. So 3 years, sorry. where are we at? So let's get ready for the ride of your lifetime. Okay. You can go into it prepared, you can go into kicking and screaming, you can go into it any way you want. But whether you like it or not, we're going in it, So, and my last little tiny slide is, as soon as I get my screen share back up, is, come on. Oops, I went too far. Is this one. They fall in love. This is how I see the world. This is how we can be, with all of us working together, and not just us doing the work, but as Dottie said, you teach people to fish. How do we teach them the same message? Now, do we do it by example? Of course we do. Do it by teachings? Of course we do. Is all important? Of course it is. Just like all of you are, very, very important. And I appreciate and thank you for your time. And I'm going to turn this back over to Miss Janet. And I will return in 1 second. Okay. Old age is getting me. All right. Bye.
Thank you, Corry. And I would just invite us to continue that discussion as we have come up with maybe spontaneous, creative ideas about how we can manifest that love. So like, Joyce C., you were mentioning that do it every day. I try to do it at the morning and the night, and I light a candle. Okay. And it kind of gives me a focus that I'm going to just breathe in love, breathe out peace, breathe out love, and breathe in peace. Right. So something just as simple as that, whatever works for you to kind of activate that moment where I'm consciously sending out that love. What about the rest of you?
I'll share a little bit. Being a business coach, and I've always done social and environmental startup companies. One of the beauty of working with them is creating a win-win situation. So how do you reframe from the traditional business model? And like, for example, last week I met with this young lady who wants to start her own business. And the first word she came out was how to compete. Well, when you compete, there is a winner and there's a loser. I told her, don't win and don't lose. How about creating both to win? And just setting that little seed in her mind, I could see the light in her just went, oh. So, I mean, that I hope with that she will go home and think through differently and come up with something that is, more loving than needing to compete. And just now, Corey's slide says, our traditional way of saying is to fall in love. How about let's reframe it to rise in love?
There we go.
Raise our vibration. So that's just how I see change coming for us, is to reframe the old way of thinking of how our brain or how our beliefs has been brought up to today, and how are we going to change our own mindset, vibrate at a different level, and each of us, as we reach out to others to share that shift. So that's what I've been doing. So thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Donna.
I'd like to mention, while Corry was speaking, I was thinking about how, to raise my vibration to the vibration of love. And I was kind of scrolling around, on my my smartphone, and I came to 852 megahertz, which is the frequency of love. And YouTube has music at 852 frequency. So I was thinking, why don't places, play this more often so that we're surrounded, by this beautiful music that is so soothing and comforting, like even in Bill's nursing home, where it's somewhat depressing. And I mean, even in supermarkets, they want to play music that sells things. My feeling is they should play music that, enhances, higher frequencies. That would be so delightful, but I'm sure it's unrealistic. So I'm going to listen to more music of higher frequencies. That's my plan. And ask the director of the nursing home, why they can't have music, that promotes a higher frequency for the patients there. So those are my thoughts.
Donna, beautiful, and I will chime in because there is a group of people who are actually bringing this kind of music to the nursing homes, but it takes some time to change the mindset. I actually know them, and we are working on it. I am working with sound healing, and so
Wonderful.
there are a bunch of people working on medical side because for me, it worked beautifully for Glenn and I stream the frequency music all day long and night as well.
Nice.
Different ones for different work I do. So I'm glad to hear you are finding
And I'd like
it
to
too.
hear more about that, Chinley. I'd like to hear more about that.
I will be speaking about it soon.
Okay, thank
Yes.
you. Thank you.
And we are so excited because every way that we can get it through our five senses, which is operating on the earth plane, will just help our vibrations in the more finer, frequencies. That's fantastic.
That's true. And also the love, and then this new frequency that's coming into play. And I did say 12,000 years. I never did go back to it. This frequency hasn't been on Earth for 12,000 years, in accordance with all the guides out there that are talking about it and stuff. So this is something new. But to change frequencies, yes, Donna, that's a great start with the 852 megahertz music and Chen Li. And those of us who are already, I wouldn't say above that because we're not, but we can move much faster in the frequency world by different things we do. So don't forget, even though you think you're already beyond that, yet we're not. It's always good to go back a little bit and listen a little bit. Just don't get stuck in there, because once you've gone beyond it, it's, you want to keep moving forward, so with that change in love. Okay. I'm a pain in the butt, aren't I? Yeah.
I think I'd like to get stuck there.
I knew that was coming.
Bravo, Donna.
All right. Joyce, is there any way, or Patty, can you send a scan copy that poem that Mrs. Joyce wrote and send it off to staff so I can get it in the next newsletter?
Yeah, I'll just have to.
We can type it up and send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I loved it. Thank you so much.
Oh, I just wanted to say that I also listen to the Hertz music.
Yeah.
I've been listening to one that is helping to expand the chakra and the whole energy system, and also the brain. And it's really interesting because it's very calming to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like 8 hours, you're in the workspace upstairs, and then, I'm up there, sorting through paper and books and things, and you just put it on and let it go. And it's an amazing how calm you become.
Wow.
It's no longer about there's so much stuff to do. That's not the point. It just goes away. You really calm out and you relax out. So I've been using it on and off for a number of years, and I'm getting back into just whenever I'm in my workspace and I'm working up there or doing some search on the internet or whatever I'm doing, you know, you can put that on and listen to it, and it makes a difference. It's very calming. You sleep better.
How do
Yeah.
we get access to this? This is wonderful. I think it might be
Just write down YouTube hurts.
Yeah.
I'll
perfect.
show you, Jan.
Wonderful.
Right.
One of
Wonderful
the
stuff.
favorite group I tend to do, like what Joyce just say, I like to stream for long, many hours. Meditativemind.org. It's all on YouTube, and they have 1 hour, 3 hours, 6 hours, 9 hours. I love to play the 9 hours.
I just wanted
or
to interrupt.
sleep. Yeah.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mary. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
She's yeah. So if you're interested in streaming those long hours, meditativemind.org, they do some beautiful different chakras. They even have a lot of write up about the different frequencies, and it's very calming. It's wonderful.
We actually have in the UCM office given to us by Dr. Joyce Smith, the frequencies. But they're,
Beautiful.
yeah, can't remember if they're on CDs or not. I think they're on, I don't remember if they're CDs or tapes. But one day we wanted to get them over to MP3 so people can listen to them online. Just
In the meantime, can we listen to them?
Oh yeah, absolutely, anytime.
Okay.
Yeah. But when you go in, Donna, one of us that gets on the ladder can get them for you, because I got them stuck all the way to the top.
Okay.
I didn't want them to disappear because they're sets. Okay.
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 Very good. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Okay. Thank you all.
Hey, we're
Beautiful.
going to have a Thursday night class, getting in touch with your soulmate this Thursday night.
Woo! Right
Yeah,
on
you-
time for the season.
UCM, 7
that's
o'clock.
beautiful.
Excellent. Excellent.
Absolutely.
Bill's already my soulmate, so do I need to attend?
Yes.
No,
'Cause he'll
it's
be-
nice. Yeah, but I was going to say is what's nice about it. I'm going to be talking about the fact that you don't just have one soulmate.
Oh, uh-oh. He's gonna
Yeah.
be jealous.
Well, yeah, don't invite Bill then, okay? Yeah. You just can't invite Bill, all right? All right.
Okay.
I want to thank you all for coming to listen and be the choir for me. I appreciate that. You know,
Corey.
I know that it's, you know, information you guys all know, but it also helps me remind myself. So I thank you very much. And
It's
I'm turning
fun.
it back.
Oh, we are
Thank you.
so grateful to you, Corey, and thank you so much for the depth of where you took us today. And you took us down a road that acknowledged a lot, and that we can do that for and with each other. You know, thank you all for your incredible participation and your offering of wisdom. It is what binds us all together, and we can do this together. And I just want to invite you to know that next month, we'll have our speaker series, and we will have an exciting speaker.
Oh, who is it?
Ah,
I wonder who.
wonder
Are you going
who
to
it
speak up?
is.
Chenley, isn't it you? No, who's in March? Huh? I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I'll let you know.
We'll let you know. I thought I knew too. I thought it was Chen Li.
I thought it was
Oh, is
Chenley.
it?
So,
Oh,
thought so,
I
but
got
okay.
forwarded. I thought I took the June.
you
We'll
might have
find out in
taken-
a minute.
We'll find
I'll let
out.
you know.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't even start my
So
work.
before
Uh-oh.
I turn off the recording, I want to be sure to let people know. So can you look it up,
Okay.
Corey? I am
know.
so sorry. I messed up. So I'm the
I love you
coordinator of this,
guys.
and I messed it up. So
We can talk. We can talk. We'll figure out.
You're only human, Jan.
That's right.
Isn't that what we
Okay.
say? You're only human.
and you know, the wonderful thing about that, my friends, is remember to treat yourself with that same humanity that you wish to treat the world. We need that And we have each other in such a beautiful way. And just want to offer to each and every one of you, we are so grateful for your continued light, your amazing light.
I'll just have to get back to it, Jen. I can't find it right away.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I had it wrong too. I'll have to look it up. But I just want you to know that you have the ability, you know,
Who's speaking next Sunday?
spread
Cindy?
out, to
Yes, Cindy
spread
was,
out your light and your energy and your love.
Nina Price.
And I'll see you all on Saturday.
See you on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, see you
Yes.
Saturday.
Yes.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right, my
All right,
friends.
bud. Thank
Love
you.
to all.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
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 Thank you.